Welcome, my name is Sarah Brimhall. I'm excited to be presenting to you today. I want you to imagine yourself at work, maybe a future job, and your boss approaches you and tells you that a client is in town and your company is hoping to close a very big deal with him. They need your help. You have expertise in this area and they need you to be there to answer any questions and help close this deal. They are meeting for lunch in 1 hour. The CEO has flown in for this, as well as other vice presidents, and it goes without saying that if you do well with this, it may be a turning point for you in your career. You feel great. You know your stuff, you're great at presenting, and you see that promotion in your future. You arrive at that 5-star restaurant. The chandeliers are stunning. The maitre d' guides you to your table, which is covered in a crisp white linen. You sit down surrounded by upper crust management, and you're feeling very much like you have arrived until you look down and you see all the glassware, all the forks and all the knives, even those tiny little forks, and you have no idea what they all are for. Your confidence is gone and you are feeling very much out of your element. I work for a high-end catering company. We cater a lot of business functions, a lot of business lunches and dinners, conventions, corporate events, private dinner parties, and we see this scenario play out over and over again. That lost look, the person who has to look at everyone else to try to figure out what the rules are, or worse, the person who's absolutely oblivious to how poor their table manners are. We know that we are judged by everything we do, by the way we talk, the way we walk, our body language. We know how important that first impression is. Our table etiquette and manners are just one more piece in that assessment. It gives clues to our education level, our social status, and our consideration for others. Don't let all the hard work you put into developing yourself fall apart at the dinner table. To start, I will be addressing necessary etiquette in the business events you attend. These will start with an invitation. Maybe a formal invite, but for business, it's usually an electronic correspondence. This will need to be answered with a yes or no within 1 or 2 business days. If you respond with a yes, you need to show up. When you arrive at your event, be social, network. If you see the hostess, thank the hostess. Make introductions. I suggest you find your seat early. You may see table numbers or your name tag. Do not move those around. You need to sit where you're assigned. That way, if you locate it early, you can go directly to it when it's time to sit. During that social time before an event starts, that might be the buffer where you have a buffet, a lunch buffet or a dinner buffet. Get your food, bring it to the table. Know that once the presentation starts, you should not get up for any reason until the speaker is finished. When you sit down at the table, you often will see a menu card or an agenda. This one has notepads and a lot of business papers. You will need to move those when the server places their food. A small menu card can be placed above your meal. Papers and folders are a little awkward. Sometimes the tables are going to be very full and there's not going to be a place for them. There's not a great answer for this. If you have a satchel, put it in that. If you can put it under your chair, that's great. Maybe on your lap with a napkin over, but they will need to be moved when the presentation starts. It's customary not to have business until the last course. So if you have maybe a 3-course meal or a 2-course meal, know that if you are still eating and the presentation starts, it's okay. Go ahead and continue eating quietly. Know that that will not be bussed until the presentation is over. You will need to move your chair to face the presenter. Don't sprawl out at that time. It's very rude. Stay professional. This is going to date me. This is from the movie Splash. I think it's from early 90s, maybe late 80s. She is a mermaid spending some time on land, and you can see with her eating, she's eating a lobster without utensils, that she is literally a fish out of water. Make sure that's not how you are looking. Know your table etiquette. I'm going to go over some just quick basic table etiquette with you. Sit up straight, square those shoulders, bring your fork to your mouth, not your mouth down to the table. Don't act like you're eating out of pig trough. Of course, everybody should know this one. Don't talk with food in your mouth, and don't chew with your mouth open. Don't blow on your food or blow your nose at the dinner table. Cell phones, purses, and keys should not be on the dinner table. Turn and silence your phone off. Cut your meat just one, maybe two pieces at a time. Don't cut it all like you're a toddler. And don't butter your entire piece of bread. Just butter one piece, break one piece off and butter that, and eat just one piece at a time. When you are drinking alcohol or your drink, don't take a drink with food in your mouth. Don't eat your ice or chew your ice. If you don't want to drink alcohol, just kind of give a little gesture over the glass to the server, or put your hand over the glass. You may need to say no thank you, or I'm good for now. That should be sufficient. A lot of people don't drink alcohol. When you're holding the stemware, don't hold it by the goblet, hold it by the stem. Don't overdrink. Nobody needs a drunk guest. When you are passing food, always pass the salt and pepper together, regardless of if they just ask for the salt. Do not quickly try to serve yourself some before you pass it down. Pass it directly to the person who has asked. Never reach around somebody or over somebody for food. Wait until your hostess starts to eat before you start to eat, and wait till everybody in your table has their food before you start to eat. The napkin's kind of a big deal. Make sure it's in your lap, folded in half. You should start putting your napkin in your lap when everyone has been seated, but before everybody eats. If you get up in the middle of a meal, place that napkin on the chair. If you are finished, don't ever put that napkin, especially a cloth napkin, on your plate. People do that. I don't know why. Don't ever put a cloth napkin on your plate. Leave it to the left of your plate. Oscar Wilde once said, "The world was my oyster, but I used the wrong fork." Many of you will be relieved to know that the American style of eating has become more and more simplified. There rarely is more than 2 knives, 2 forks, 1 spoon. The general rule when using utensils is go from the outside in. They should be laid out in the order of service. The United States has less rigid rules than other countries. You're going to see a lot more variation and contrasting advice in etiquette books. That's okay. Just pick one and stick with it. There are 2 main styles of eating, American and continental. Both of them are used in the United States, and both of them are equally acceptable. The American style is when we trade utensils from hand to hand. We cut with one hand, rest it, trade our fork back, and take a bite. The knife will be at the top of your plate for resting position, and then when you're done with that bite, you'll put the fork down to take a sip of water or to talk. When you're finished, this is called finished position for American plates, and the knife and the fork join together roughly 4 o'clock. The continental resting style, this is a European style, the British style. You're going to use the same hand for your knife and fork, and they're not going to be switching back and forth. Resting is really simple. It's going to be in a V. And finished style will either be like the American style, tins up or tins down, it really doesn't matter, or straight up and down, tins up or tins down, it doesn't matter. I just want to end by really encouraging you to get educated when it comes to table manners. Buy a book, look at videos. If you plan on doing international business, study the etiquette for that country. If you plan on doing a lot of business lunches, there's a lot of articles and videos that will help you set up those and conduct business in a restaurant. Remember, we are all being judged by everything we do. Take time to perfect your table manners so when the opportunity does come over the table, that you will be able to relax and smile and know that you've got this. Thank you.